All right, today we're diving into something really cool, a strategic plan that's all about taking one single natural resource and using it to build up a nation's power and future. It's a fascinating idea, so let's just jump right in. So think about this for a second. It's a massive question, right? How does a country take something it just digs out of the ground and turn that into real, lasting influence? Wealth, power on the world stage. But what if the answer wasn't about doing a million different things, but about going all in on just one? And that's pretty much the core idea we're digging into here. We're not talking about juggling a dozen different industries or some complicated financial plan. Nope, this is all about mastering every single step of the process for one single critical element. And that element? It's zirconium. Now, this isn't just any old rock. The source material calls it South Africa's shielding metal, and for good reason. I mean, this stuff has an insanely high melting point, and neutrons can pass right through it, which makes it absolutely essential for our most advanced tech. We're talking about everything from the guts of nuclear reactors to super tough ceramics and alloys that can handle just about anything you throw at them. Okay, so how do you actually make this happen? Well, the plan is built around this really solid framework, the 12 pillars of industrial sovereignty. You can just think of it as the blueprint, the step-by-step guide to building a whole new strategic industry from scratch. So where do you even start with something this big? Well, it's simple. You have to build the engine at home first, right? Before you can even think about playing on the world stage. So this first chunk of pillars, it's all about forging that core industrial and economic machine. The whole foundation really comes down to 3 key moves. First up, Pillar 1 is all about control. They set up a commodity desk to manage pricing, so South Africa isn't just at the mercy of the market. Then, with that control, Pillar 2 focuses on building wealth with a sovereign fund. That way, they capture the profits from all the valuable stuff they make, not just the raw material. And finally, to lock in the future, Pillar 3 is a research hub, constantly pushing the boundaries with new alloys and materials. See how that works? Control, wealth, and innovation, all feeding into each other. Now, Pillar 4. This is really the beating heart of the whole strategy. This is where they totally flip the script on that old model of just, digging stuff up and shipping it off somewhere else. Instead, they're building a massive industrial cluster to handle every single step, from refining the raw ore to making pure zirconia and all the way to manufacturing the really high-value stuff like the nuclear shielding and advanced ceramics. It's a total game changer. You stop exporting dirt and you start exporting technology. But a giant industrial engine is pretty much useless if you don't have the skilled people to actually run it. So that's what this next part of the plan is all about, building that critical human ecosystem. And what's really brilliant here is the balance. I mean, this isn't just about pouring concrete and building factories. On one hand, you've got the human side of things. Pillar 6 is all about trade schools, creating that skilled workforce. And Pillar 5 is about helping small businesses get started in things like ceramics and coatings. But then, on the other hand, Pillar 7 tackles the physical stuff, building out the ports, the railways, the clean energy to make it all run. You absolutely need both, right? It's a really smart, holistic way of looking at it. Okay, so you've built your industrial engine, you've got the people and the skills in place. Now what? Well, this is where the strategy really shifts gears. The next phase is all about taking all that domestic strength and turning it into actual influence on the world stage. And yeah, this is where things get really interesting. There's a line in the source material that just nails it. It really points to a huge shift in how you think about what this stuff even is. It says, zirconium is not just a mineral. It's shielding, ceramics, and nuclear resilience. And honestly, that change in perspective is everything. South Africa stops being a country that just sells a raw commodity. Instead, it's exporting security, it's exporting high-tech materials, it's exporting energy independence. And while that is a way more powerful place to be. And that value, it translates directly into what Pillar 8 calls diplomatic leverage. I mean, think about it. When you control something that is absolutely critical for nuclear energy, all of a sudden you have a very important seat at some very important tables. We're talking about discussions with the BRICS nations, with other African countries trying to build out their own energy systems, and really with the entire global market for nuclear power. A huge piece of this global play is being proactive, not reactive. That's where Pillar 10 comes in, with its focus on predictive modeling. So instead of just waiting around and seeing what the market does, the idea is to use data to actually forecast future demand, to figure out what the world is going to need for nuclear power, for advanced ceramics, for all those huge infrastructure projects. It's all about seeing what's coming and being ready for it. And this right here is the ultimate goal, the big geopolitical play. Pillar 12, continental positioning. The ambition here is massive. For South Africa to become the one partner the rest of the continent absolutely cannot do without. To literally be Africa's zirconium backbone, supplying the essential materials for energy, for infrastructure, for pretty much everything. Okay, let's bring this all back down to earth for a second. What does a grand strategy like this actually mean for the people living in South Africa? Because let's be honest, a plan like this is only a success if it creates real, tangible benefits for them. And that's exactly what these last few pillars are all about. The whole thing is designed to be circular, to create this kind of positive feedback loop. So you have Pillar 9, which makes sure the industry is sustainable, using low-emission refining methods, recycling materials, and then Pillar 11 brings all those benefits right back into the community. They're literally using the advanced tiles and coatings made from zirconium to build better clinics, better schools, better housing. The industry itself is helping to rebuild the nation. And that really brings us to the core takeaway here. Through this incredibly detailed 12-pillar approach, you watch a simple mineral that's just sitting in the ground transform into something so much more. It becomes a genuine sovereign capability, a powerful tool for building up the country from the inside while projecting strength on the outside. Look, there's no doubt it's an incredibly ambitious vision, and it leaves us with this one final huge question to chew on. We started this off by asking if one element could secure a nation's future. But if a plan like this actually works, the real question might just be, can one element, when managed this strategically, help redefine the future of an entire continent? That's a pretty powerful thought to leave you with.